Okay, so here we have a short victory for Mannfred von Carstein, playing as vampire counts, playing as the Drakenhof Conclave. So remember that in Warhammer 3, Mannfred got booted and sent to the Southlands to pursue the Books of Nagash. So you start out down here. You started with Kasabar, I think, and then you're at war with a minor faction here, and you just want to go from there and do whatever you're going to do. The victory conditions for this one are pretty sane. Eliminate Khemri, okay, so that's Cetra. Eliminate the Cult of Sigmar, that's Volkmar, and then eliminate the Chevalier de Lyonesse, that's what's-her-face, Rapunzel, and then control the Land of the Dead, which is the Khemri faction area, and then 30. You also have the ability to collect the Books of Nagash. As you can see, I collected a grand total of 0. This is an interesting campaign to play, playing as the vampires in the desert. I didn't play as hero-centric a campaign in this one as you might do back in the Empire, because you don't have as easy access to the heroes. Mannfred is not as good a lord as Vlad, and he doesn't have the hero capabilities that Isabella has. He doesn't have the zombie power that Gorst has, and he doesn't have the whatever it is that Kemmler have. I still haven't played as Kemmler, or won as Kemmler. So how did this one work? We took out the minor faction here, and then we went straight and took out Volkmar here. Once that was done, we went ahead and plowed through a minor faction in here, and then took out Rapunzel. Rapunzel didn't really have much of a chance because we got was this fellow over here, the Nagash, I can never remember his name, Arkan, to join us. Arkan is, as you can see, a vassal of ours. We have him vassalized. We have the Disciples of the Maw vassalized. Arkan sold his soul literally for cheap. I traded him Martek, and he accepted vassalization. Again, I think the settlement trading is extraordinarily overpowered. So once she was gone, he was at war with the Ogres here, took them out, and then I decided I was going to take out the Black Pyramid. Now, by the time that happened, of all people, Wurzag decided he was going to come up from down here in the jungle, and he was going to be at war. He had finished off Tic-Tac-Toe, and he came up here. And I sieged Nagash. Wurzag sat 3 armies around it, helping me siege, and I fought the battle, and I allowed Wurzag to siege, and I used all my Winds of Death magic on his army and annihilated most of it. I took the Black Pyramid. Then when Wurzag was running off this way to fight Thorek, I declared war on him. I had never had any agreements with him. He was just a common enemy to the Sentinels. So you can see here, this is the result of that. I have this territory, and I traded away these to Arkan. And then all it took was to come up here and finish off Khorne. I got enough territory to do that. I actually won by trading Galbaraz for Stormhenge. I'm going to try and settle for these here. The campaign is won, but it's actually falling apart a little bit. Khorne has declared war on us. And for some reason, Teclis, even though he's getting his butt kicked, rank 36, we're 30, even though we had 2 vassals and a defensive ally in the Last Defenders, Teclis decided he was going to attack us even while Tzeentch was kicking his butt. You know the way the game works. So if I was to continue, that would have to get taken care of. You can see here that the long victory actually vassalize all of these areas in the Southlands, rather than having to go back home to the Empire. So I kind of like that. Most of this stuff is on the east side of the mountains, right? So that's where Lamia is, and then this is Nagash's Tsar up here, And then this is the Sires of Warcane in here, 8 Peaks and Plane of Bones. So that's actually a pretty demanding requirement. If you're going to take these out, you probably have the ability to get 60 territories, but this is specific about which ones. And then you need 7 Lords from Vampiric Bloodlines. So you can see that, oops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wouldn't be that much. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that would be 15 blood kisses, and then 2 6s for 12. It'd be 27 blood kisses. That's perfectly reasonable. The blood kiss system I did not abuse because I didn't have the... there aren't as many minor factions to kill, so there aren't that many heads of minor factions. I did get one of each because I wanted to look at the blood dragon. It turns out, if we can find who's our blood dragon guy. I'm not even sure who he is. He might be this guy here. See our blood dragon? He's the blood dragon bloodline. Turns out he has the skill line that the Red Duke had. So it's interesting. Probably not as good as the Red Duke, but you get access to the same, the cavalry and then the Graveguard skills in here. I also have a Ghoul King, and I also have a Ghoul King bloodline, Strigoi bloodline, and you can see the differences there. He's missing an entire line here that the bloodline has. The bloodline adds in this stuff in here, which we looked at before, and the regular Strigoi is in here. The regular Strigoi is okay. I'm using him to lead an army, so he's not concentrating as much on the magic. Again, the magic, once you get Wind of Death, you can do ridiculous amounts of damage. I currently have Wind of Death at 12 magic to cast, and I'm running around with about 150. I am taking a lot of attrition because most of this is chaos from both Malagor and Khorne. So only when we're in settlements. There's no encampment stance, and enchanneling stance won't protect you anymore. So you really do have to get inside settlements to protect your army. Vlad's a moderate, middling, legendary lord. He's not as good as Vlad. I don't think his combat stats are as good. He does get flying mounts. He does get the Hellsteed, which is good. The zombie dragon is very good to be on if you're not fighting a ranged enemy, because it does have great mass and combat stats. So you can see here I have not concentrated much on this line here, enough to get him some melee defense, and then I went for magic. He does get both vampire magic and death magic, Wind of Death and Purple Sun of Xerius, and you can get reduced cost for Purple Sun here, and you can get reduced cost for Wind of Death upgraded. Not Wind of Death, but Wind of Death upgraded. So he can throw around some pretty vicious spells. You can get Earthing. But I don't think he's particularly great. His items, though, they're pretty good. Income here, corruption, because remember, corruption increases what you can recruit. Recruiting cost goes down, as to his melee attack and his weapon strength. And this one here recharges while he's in melee. So he can get into melee, cast Winds of Death or Curse of Years or whatever you want, and he'll recoup. He'll get that power recharge, and it's reserves per second. Not the magic currently available, but reserves. So this is like a magic generation, so it can be pretty good. So 60% power recharge and then 0.1 reserves per second, so he gets both. So for every 10 seconds he's in combat, you get 1 magic, which is, you know, he does have access to some death magic, but he doesn't have life leech, right? He doesn't have the soul leech, the life leech one. Now I do, whenever I can, I do recruit necromancers that have Master of the Black Arts because of the bound spell Spirit Leech. These are the ones that I save as often as I can, because you get 4, you can see there, 4 free Spirit Leeches. Even the Strigoi that I recruited is also Master of the Black Arts. I think that's the best. There's one capability reduces enemy leadership. Let's take a look and see what we've got in here. Not that one, not that one. Dark Majesty. Now, well, I don't remember which one it is. One reduces enemy leadership, but I think the Master of the Dark Arts is the best one to have because of those 4 life leech spells. I went ahead and I kept this building here because this is what I leaned into with Vlad. Let's go back and look at him again. Got sidetracked. So if you look at him, upkeep for Graveguard and Black Knights, Winds of Magic, and then Master of the Black Arts. So this is kind of a weird one. You get 60% spell mastery for 15 seconds, but on a 90-second cooldown, and it's an activated ability. He gets spell mastery, so he gets 100%, and then he gets another 60%. So you can really, when I was doing that battle where I destroyed Wurzag's army with my Winds of Death, I was really tearing people up. But I think this should just be added to his, they should just make this a 160%. I think that would be good. He's not the combatant. Oh, let's go back to the items. So the Armor of Tempelhof, 10 armor is not a big deal. 10% ward save is huge. Melee defense is good. Resistance, and then this regenerating flesh. It's a one-time regenerator. 33 seconds for 0.8. So it's about 30% of his health. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good health regeneration. Plus, remember, he gets the hunger in his skill tree. And then this here, control in all provinces is nice, and then Winds of Magic Power Reserve for the army is nice. So he does have a decent amount of magic. I am carrying a vampire. I never got high enough to recruit vampires. I don't think I even have a tier 4 settlement, so she was gifted to me as an event to 8 to 10 turns in. I have some necromancers running around, but most of the fights, except the sieges, were auto-resolved. If we look down here, 16 out of 52 is actually pretty high. That's just under a third of the battles. But most of the ones I fought personally were siege battles. Because the army I had didn't do very well in auto-resolve, I would just send these guys in and then, remember, walk around in a pack of leaders. I don't have the leader spam. I am now making a significant amount of money, so the battles that I have coming up against Khorne and Teclis would be relatively easy. But because the next victory condition involves coming out here and taking all of this, I don't know that I'm necessarily going to do it. We do have to address the Books of Nagash. I think the Books of Nagash, which like Tomb Kings can do this, Mannfred can do it, Volkmar can do it. I don't find them particularly worthwhile. There's only a couple nearby. This is the Wandering Army that's nearby. The Eyes of the Jungle. Lord Recruit rank, who cares? Recruitment cost for Lords, who cares? Wound recovery time, -1, who cares? This is useless, pointless, terrible. So effects would be doubled, so 2, 20, and 2. Who cares? This is really not much savings. Nagashazar has one over here. Hero action cost. This would be pretty good, especially doubled, 50%, 10% plus 2 if I do ever go back and get that building. But then you have to go further afar to find anything good. 3 blood kisses and 10 research rate. Remember, that would be 6 blood kisses and 20 research rate. Carrick 8 Peaks, remember, is part of that long victory condition. This one here is, where is this one? Is that at Skavenblight, right? Occupy the following settlement. Now, it doesn't say get as an ally or get as a vassal. It says occupy. So, Winds of Power, 7 for all armies. Who cares? Necromancers. This one here, effective at all commandments, 50%. Who cares? None of this is really particularly good. And then there's one that's in... I believe this is back in... oh, okay, that's a Wandering Army. I thought maybe that was back at Castle Drakenhof. Local recruit. This just, the books are not any good. And it doesn't say anything about getting all the books and getting a bonus. If we look at the victory conditions, collecting the books is not part of the victory conditions, which is good. So I enjoyed the campaign. I did want to play another vampire campaign afterwards. I considered Gorst or Camera, who I have not won as, but I did not go for that. I am reiterating that I think the best Bloodlines are going to be the Lamians, but none of the stuff in the Bloodlines was particularly... I mean, ambush success, that does help considerably in the desert where your ambush success chance is pretty low. This one here, replenishment rate for all armies, that is really pretty good. This one here, I got like 5 cavalry units. If you go on, you get unit 6. This is just not something that plays into my style. Character experience gain, and then research rate. As for the research in this one, I went for some basic stuff here. I did, once I got the Strigoi, if we go and look in the Bloodline Strigoi, wherever the heck that guy is. Doi. That's the regular one. Where's this, the Bloodline? Or maybe it's the regular one. If we look in here, he gets this one here, Command of the Unliving. I was glad to find that one. The regular one summons crypt ghouls, and the upgraded one will summon crypt horrors. If we search for crypt, we can find that you get crypt ghoul benefits here, crypt horror benefits here. Again, you get them in here. And then if you go to this fella here, in this one, is it that one? Yeah, upkeep and recruit rank for crypt ghouls from the Grave Eaters, which this guy doesn't have. So there's, I think, to make the Bloodlines again truly better versions, they should have all the capabilities of the standard and then enhanced by being in the Bloodline. I mean, why this guy would have benefits here that guy doesn't, I'm not sure. And then you've got this here, crypt ghouls and crypt horrors benefit right there again, and then this one here, crypt horrors and crypt horrors. This is really leaning into the crypt beasts, and I think the Bloodline Lord should get those as well. And I'd like to see that in a vampire rework. So, enjoyable campaign. Wasn't particularly difficult, wasn't particularly frustrating. Like I say, I vassalized. What's my income from vassals right now? 1,700. So I vassalized him for the low price of a minor settlement at Martek. And I vassalized these guys. They just let me vassalize them for no major reason whatsoever. I'm almost assuredly not going to continue this campaign, but I did have fun. How did I play it a little differently? Because I wanted to get upper level units, I tried to fight only major battles to increase the number of these, to increase the recruitability. You can see 21 things here. I'm not sure exactly how the recruitment works. If you look down here, this is only 17, but you can get Graveguard in this one. We've got 23 down here. There's no Graveguard because I've recruited them, I think. If you recruit a Lord... Oh, I can't get him. If we take a look, there's not even a chance of getting those upper tier ones in here. You can see the chances of replenishment here. There's 10% for each of these. There are some areas. There was one down here, I think it was, where there was some... No? Okay, well, there was for a while. I had the ability to recruit Mortis engines and the lot down here, which is where I actually got them from. But an enjoyable campaign. Definitely cleansed my palate for wanting to play as vampires again. So we'll see what happens next. And yeah, Mannfred was a pretty good fun one. Definitely, probably, I would say the third or maybe even fourth best legendary lord for the vampires.